say we have a power, but every night I make a new best friend. And the only problem is we like having a good time.
Hello. I know. It's another episode of Between Two Beards. We made it again. Every week, we question ourselves, but Spencer continues to let us do this thing. I am JPJ. This is Pluggo. First, before we start diving into what we're going to talk about, I want to thank a few people because I have had a rough week. I've been under the weather, not feeling too great. So I want to thank Pluggo for filling in for me as the lead on the War Report for the AEW last night. I want to thank Ed, who was on both shows. He led the NXT one, did a great job at that. He led the NXT one with the lovely Astrid on Tuesday, and he was a part of the AEW War Report last night with one of our newest contributors. I believe we announced it today, I think, officially, Cody. And that was the first time, or one of the first times some of you might have seen him. So I want to thank all of them for kind of stepping up to the plate and taking care of that show for me while I was kind of out, not feeling that great, dealing with some stuff. So first and foremost, I wanted to get that out of the way. We have a great team here, and we all care about each other, and I was having a rough time, and they kind of stepped up and took care of things for me. And you were obviously one of them, Pluggo. Obviously, I love you because of this show, but I at least wanted to thank you for kind of stepping up and doing that.
No problem, man. It was a big shoes to fill. But before you go, big shoes in the sense that you kill it. I've said it many times across many platforms and to many people that without the contributions of JPJ, Between Two Beards does not flow. Like y'all know. I'm not good at this stuff. I just show up.
I mean, the times you've done it, you've been pretty friggin' good. So,
but I wanted, before we get too deep into things, I did something I wanted to talk about. We're starting on a little sour note. It's been 13 episodes.
Yes.
It started as a pipe dream.
A lucky number 13? Is that?
People were saying, they laughed at us when we said we were going to start a show and be a force to be reckoned with in the wrestling world. All good things must come to an end. As I take my boots off. I'm just kidding. I ain't
Who
retired.
has the crutch? Who has the crutch? What's going on, Parrish?
Parrish has got the crutch, baby. I ain't retired. I ain't Cody Rhodes. Let's go. Between Two Beards, we're back. It's Thursday night.
Always,
how the
baby.
hell is everyone doing?
Always.
Jeremy, how you doing? Ryan, how you doing? Does that say Dunk Cody? Drunk Cody?
Drunk Cody, but that's Cody. John, thank you for the kind words. Everybody in the chat, tell us what you want to talk about tonight. We have some things on our agenda. We have a draft.
Spencer, we have a draft. Cancel us. I don't even know what the draft is.
I haven't even told you what the draft is. I won the poll, so
shoot.
Wow. I'm gonna spring it on you in the moment when we do it. But we have a few bullet points and things we want to talk about. Obviously, I wasn't on the War Report for the last couple nights, so I do want to touch on some things and some opinions that I have more towards AEW because I effing love AEW.
Oh, the Rousey.
Oh,
yeah. We're gonna talk about it.
We're gonna talk about that.
We'll talk about
that. Yes, I did hear that. I did hear that post when the show went off the air. He did take off his other boot and left it in the ring, and he left with no boots on.
I did not see that. So is he done? Is he retired?
No.
Listen, this is all. I said it last night.
My man Spencer, love you, buddy. Thanks for hopping in the chat. Always good to see you, boss.
Hey, boss, we're going to need a little bit more budget. As you can see, we got all these awesome people in here wanting us to ramp it up. So open up that checkbook, baby. Let's go.
All right. So are we starting with? Do you want to start with AEW and Cody, or did you want to start with?
I mean,
we got a lot. We got some stuff to talk about, man. We got some
boots were made for taking off, and that's just what he'll do.
What I did love about that, though, is I loved Malachi Black breaking it up with the crutch and just being like, no.
What a bad
you're not.
Debut.
Yeah. Yeah. I just wanted to. The fact that he was like, no, 2 weeks in a row, right? They went to Cody last week on Dynamite, and he was going to cut a promo from the producer's booth, and he started it off with that, in today's world, and Malachi Black came out of nowhere and was like, no, You're not. We're not doing this again. We're not. You're not doing this.
No.
And then last night they have their match, which Cody just gets destroyed, like squashed. It was amazing. John, I love that too. I love how committed he is. That he was like, yeah, it's another company, but this eye thing was a thing. I'm carrying it over. I'm bringing it over. The fact that Cody was doing what seemed to be that retirement speech after that match, and Malachi Black just coming out and being like, no, this is not about you. This is not about you. Like,
Perfect.
No, absolutely no. I love that so much.
And my bad.
I love it so much.
Call Pito Swags my guy, not Ryan. He gets upset when I call. He messaged me privately. He was like, "You call me by my first name again." I was just read.
Wait, am I not supposed to, or is that just a you thing?
That's just a me thing.
Okay.
Well, we can talk about. I call him Swags because he looks like Hornswoggle to me, and Hornswoggle had a really awesome commercial last night. With PBR. That was
amazing too.
But no, the Cody thing, we can talk about the Cody thing. To me, like I said last night, I think in a lot of ways, Malachi Black, like you said, was like, no, this isn't about you. Also, no, I'm not done with you.
Yes.
I got you in 4 minutes. That was an odd decision I'm glad that they made Black look super strong because he needed to.
Yep.
But I think a 4 minute match, it was like 4 minutes probably tops, right?
No, yeah, it was.
There's more. There's more meat on that bone. Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
Let's not. And Cody doing the retirement thing. I think not Kate. Maybe shoot sense. He's got some stuff he wants to do at home, and maybe get away. He just had a baby.
Of course.
I know he's doing the. I don't know if the Go Big show got re-upped for another season.
I think he's got something going on. He does have that. Obviously, he's got the newborn. So, if he wants to take some paternity leave, go take some paternity leave.
And obviously, after what we saw on Dark, they need somebody, one of these EVPs, to take time out to edit the shows.
Apparently, it's going to be Tony Khan himself. Apparently.
Right. So these EVPs need to do some work too. So, and I'm okay with that. I think the EVPs should, once the program with Omega and Page is kind of done, maybe Omega takes a little time off, get the Bucks. I like that too, kind of rotate through them a little bit so that way they're not all getting burnt out and they're also focusing on the day-to-day.
Yeah, I agree. And, oh, man, I feel, Tony Khan got ahead of the, I know you had referenced, you got to watch the other shows, right?
Yeah.
So, the Max Caster thing that happens, and unfortunately, I like the Acclaimed. Like I like their shtick. I like them a lot, and it's one of those things. How we doing, Don? Hi, Ashrid and Ed as well. I know you guys were saying hello in there. Well.
Oh, I think you should go listen to it.
I think you should listen to it or at least read it. But it was rough. It was rough. There was a reference to Simone Biles and the mental health thing there. There was a reference to Duke Lacrosse, which is, that whole story was surrounding rape, and that is not something that should ever be joked about, ever. So that was kind of not great. And then the last line, he didn't say the word, but he referenced Julia Hart's private area, and she's like 19 years old, like super young, like not ideal. No. As Cody says in the chat, it was very bad. It was very bad. And my thing going into it is two things. That show was taped. So that show was taped the Wednesday before. So you had 5.5 to 6 days of that just sitting around. And nobody in the whole company
was like,
watched it or edited it, or like you just were like, oh, we filmed it all on Wednesday. And it was like, all right, cool. We're just going to pull it out as is on Wednesday, And it makes no sense to me. Like, I'm just like, I understand it's a YouTube only show. I get it. It's not the main flagship show, so there might not be as much production as there would be on a nationally televised show. But how is nobody watching the show before it goes on the air? Or how is nobody there? Hey, you're going out to do the rap. All right, let me read it. And then they look at it and they go, no, you got to come up with what is this? You can't do that. What are you talking about?
Right.
And I'm sure he got a stiff talking to. He might have got a fine. I don't know. I don't think he's going to lose his job over it. And it's a mistake. It was a very bad one. It is what it is. You got to learn from it. Everybody's got to learn from mistakes. But I just can't believe, regardless if it's a YouTube only show or not, that there's nobody there reading or watching or editing these shows. There's no way that should have been missed when it was sitting back there for 6 days before they released it on Monday.
And that's what I'm saying. I think you need to that's where these EVPs need to step into. And I know they want to be one of the boys, right? Because they're wrestlers too. And you don't want to be the company that stifles creativity, as we will talk about here. That's called a tease in the business. We'll talk about some creative minds in the future. But you don't want to be that show that's hampering creativity. But there's got to be somebody with enough clout, like a Cody, to step in and say, no. That's not a good look. It's not a good line. And I know that everybody says, well, everybody loved the Attitude Era, this, that, and the other.
Yeah, but
we're not in the Attitude Era anymore.
We're not.
And I think you could push the line and you can be edgy without saying those things. I think you don't need to go that route. So for them
100%.
to allow it, it's on them. I hope they learn from it and move on, as we are, because we are not going to spend a lot of time on Max Caster on this show.
No,
we just had to touch on it. I brought it up in a weird spot. Yeah. We were going to talk about it later, but then I thought, these EVP guys need to take some time too. And Tony Khan needs to start structuring it as such. He's the head honcho. Let me get some other people involved. And this is what you're in charge of. You wanted this title. You got to be in charge of Dark.
Yeah, 100%. And it's one of those things where Tony Khan was on, and again, this will be the last before we kind of move on here. But I think Tony Khan was on Busted Open Radio, and he, like Ed said, he didn't really come out and apologize and say he was sorry that it aired, but he said it was really bad. It should have never made it to the air. And his response was that he is going to be the one that's going to start at least editing and producing Dark.
Or at the very least, watch it before it goes out.
Yeah, exactly. You don't even have to produce it, but how about a rundown? How about you just skim through it? How about you just skim through it to make sure everything's okay, Because I'm sure if Tony Khan would have watched that before it aired, he would have been like, no way. That, we're cutting that out. We'll just show the end, they'll get a dead entrance or they'll figure it out. You know what I mean? But anyway, I think another topic that we can talk about that has made the rounds this last weekend.
Producer Joe is available.
He is available to
He's
produce.
Very good at this, Joe. He keeps
that
us in line. He tells us when we're saying stupid stuff.
That is true.
So AEW, if you're listening, my man's available. Except for Thursday nights.
There he is waving. There he is. He's there. Jeremy, that shouldn't be an AEW company memo. That should just be a human being memo. Yeah. Just not ideal.
I get it, guys. I grew up in the same. I'm up 35 years old. I grew up in the Attitude Era. I grew up in the shock comedy era. That is not where we're at in society anymore. Okay, it's not something that needs to be on a. That's not how you get heat. Let's just say that. So go across the board. Be good people. Don't say really, really silly things. You're welcome, Cody. Gifted him a sub on Twitch. Get him in the mix. Yeah, buddy. I throw out some subs here and there. So if you're in the Twitch chat, you never know. Pluggo might throw you a sub.
Hey, you never know. I know. Yeah, I we do that. We do that from time to time.
We love our fans. We love all you guys for coming in and hanging out with us every Thursday. I can't believe it. 13 episodes. That's a quarter of a year, dude. We've made it. Spencer hasn't canceled us.
Wild times, man.
I hear you. Wild times. What you got next on the docket for us?
Well, I was going to say, my list is kind of everywhere, but since we're talking about AEW, we talked about Malachi Black, Cody, and now Caster a little bit. I want to stick around because we found out earlier today that for the fourth week in a row, AEW cracked over 1 million viewers. And we were kind of talking on air, and I mean, off air. I'm sorry. We were kind of talking off air, and I'm not the one coming up with this. My question is, why does society dictate? I mean, when it comes to stuff like that, society shouldn't have to dictate. You should just be a smart human and know you can't talk about that stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when it comes to the stuff that he was particularly referencing, I don't think that's a societal thing. I think it's, you're a human being, you should know better type thing. You know what I mean? And I get it. Like 20 years ago, things, were a lot looser and you could get away with a lot of stuff. And yes, we are going to touch on that. Bobby Eaton obviously passed away today. Beautiful Bobby Eaton. And if you're on the social medias, you've seen all sorts of wrestlers from all age groups, current ones, past ones, guys that he actually wrestled with. They all came out and they said not only was he one of the best in the ring, considered one of the best tag team wrestlers of all time, he was one of the best people. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where I didn't watch him a lot. He was before my time. The majority of his career was before my time, but you can tell how much that he was important to people by the outpouring. So we do want to send condolences to his family and friends for, that's a big deal. That's a big loss for the wrestling community. Beautiful Bobby Eaton. Yeah. So as we stick on AEW, I did want to say, 1 million viewers, 4 weeks in a row. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. And this is going to kind of tie into everything, because I know obviously we've talked at length about CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. That's been a couple weeks. That's been a couple weeks old now. Those rumors, and those are pretty much
fingers crossed.
Oh yeah, and but from most people you hear, those are pretty much done deals almost. Like they seem to be like everyone is like, yeah, those are happening. Those are happening.
I think Parrish's comments real quick about it's just not something I think fits in today's wrestling. I think you can get heat in other ways where you don't have to take a shot at somebody's mental health. Now, I know wrestling is in a weird spot because it's considered a sport. So you don't see that on, NBA basketball games and football games. You don't see them taking those kind of shots. So they're in a weird spot. But we all know it's a written, scripted show.
Yeah.
So they're in that weird space. But I think it's just one of those things that he could have came up with some other stuff, maybe. There's a whole legion of people out there that are okay with it. I saw it on Twitter. There's a whole legion of people that would say, "Oh, snowflakes, don't be soft." And then there's a whole. It's very divided right now.
Yeah,
I'm just erring on the side of I would rather it not be on the TV. Maybe too, because I'm a father. That could be part of where I'm at now as I've gotten older. Now that I have children, and I'm like watching these things, and when I used to watch them back then, it's just me. Okay, that's whatever. Now I'm a father of 4, and I'm like, if I'm sitting there watching it, I don't want them to know or have to like, what is that? Like, what are they talking about? And then, yes, it's not that I don't want to have those tough conversations with my children. It's just I don't think we need to set a precedent that that's how you get heat on somebody.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
And to Joe's point, that is true. And like in today's society, in today's world, like being a comedian and being that type of thing, like, but you need to adapt, you need to adapt to the way things go. I
will say that comedians have it really tough now. I know.
Comedian's job is to push the envelope. They're supposed to say the stuff that makes you laugh, but it also makes you go, oh.
So I guess the Parrish's overall point, I'm not exactly sure why it's one of those things that's acceptable in other forms of entertainment and not in wrestling. I think that's kind of where he's getting at with it, right?
Yeah,
because you could be a comedian and say those jokes, and you can be in a movie and say those jokes, and you can be in just a TV show in general and say those things. But once you get into a wrestling sports realm, it's very off limits.
Yes.
It's not in my taste, but it's other people enjoy that, and I guess to each their own.
Yeah, and like what Cody said earlier, leave the Parrish comment up there, but what Cody said, like the reaction to what Charlotte said too on Raw, I had the same reaction. It's just like, hey man, like there's certain things that you shouldn't, like, I think it doesn't matter what form, whether it's movies, TV, real life conversation, wrestling, all that. Like, if you're checking a box of things you probably shouldn't make jokes about, I would think mental health, rape, potential sexual assault, things like that should be a check marked on the box of no for everyone. That's just how I feel. And I do understand that, like, sometimes you get, like Joe said, sometimes you cross the line and that's how you figure out the line.
Yeah.
Okay. But you know what? On Monday, on both WWE and AEW, we found the line. We found one of the lines. So don't do it anymore.
What was said on Monday? I
don't. Cody might be able to do but Charlotte Flair, Shayla, you didn't miss much. For Christ's sake, we're gonna get into that later. Good Lord,
I'm glad I missed it then.
Yeah, man. Today it's not the right week. I've been feeling crappy all week. I'm pent up with emotions. Hopefully, we get a swear jar somewhere because I think I might break it later. I don't know.
I got quarters ready. Dropping the swear jar.
No, Charlotte made a reference. I don't remember. I'm not going to pretend that I know the exact comment. I did see it on the social medias, but I, like you, did not watch Raw. Oh, yeah. All right. So like Ashford said, Charlotte compared her situation to Simone's mental health. So that's the best way she can explain it.
I get it. The Olympics are hot right now, and Simone Biles, to a lot of people, quit on her team, but she quit on her team for her own mental health reasons. I'll say this. I think it's absolutely hilarious that there's a bunch of people that all of a sudden care about gymnastics. Come at me in the comments all you want. And I watch the Olympics like everyone else, and I root for our country like everyone else, but it's funny. I don't watch another gymnastics match for 4 years, and all of a sudden the whole world is caring about luge and gymnastics and whatever. It's a sport. So be it. Anyway, I'm not going to get on an Olympics tangent. We got a lot to talk about.
It's going to be a debated topic, right? So, like, it is what it is. Like, that this is just how we feel, and everyone's entitled to how they feel. Like, I just think that when it comes to things like that, and as Ashford said in that last comment that we'll put up now, like, when he said that, there was a camera shot to Julia Hart when he, like, referenced her, private area, and she did look uncomfortable. She looked like, it was just rough.
They do that with casters raps. They always pan to the person he's dissing. But like I said, I think in this instance, she was not ready for that. She did not know that was coming. And you could even see Pillman and Garrison kind of like, did he just say that?
Yeah. And like Parrish said, like, you do what's right for you. Yeah. Like, when you're talking about mental health and self-care, like, self-care is important. You got to, especially someone like Plug, me and Pluggo are around the same age, right? So, like, we definitely grew up when we first started getting into the workforce. It wasn't like and it still is, depending on some jobs you have, but it wasn't like that. It was like, oh, you're sick? Well, we need you here. So tough it up.
Right.
Tough it up and get here. You know what I mean? And you went to work and you got through it and you worked through it and it sucked, but you did it. And I feel like, yes, that still happens, but like now it's becoming more accepted that it's like, hey man, like, I'm not feeling great. So we need to, like, I need to take a day, whether it's mental or physical. Like, I just feel like it's more accepted now that that is true. The Canadian team did beat US. Shocker. The women's soccer. But they've already had their run. They're going to transition the team. They got a couple of their stars are getting older and stuff like that. But, it's just when you start talking about stuff like that, it's going to, and I don't want us to have like a soapbox type stuff like that, but
right.
A lot of the stuff that Max
talk about.
Yeah. A lot of the stuff that was said it just shouldn't have been said. But I wanted to talk about this. And I'm not the first one that has thought it. I believe Sean Ross Sapp has been saying it for a little while now. But now that we get 4 weeks in a row of AEW cracking 1 million and Raw just still being atrociously awful. Unbelievable. It's so bad. So I agree with SRS, and I think that if things were to stay the same, which I have no reason to believe they won't stay the same, do we think that AEW has a chance to, at least in the 18 to 49 demographic, which is like, the one that everyone cares about apparently, do you think by maybe the end of this year, next year at some point, like AEW has a legitimate chance to outrate Raw? Not in total amount of people, because nobody will ever beat WWE. They're just too big, too worldwide. Like, that's never going to happen.
No.
But if you're talking specifically from a demographic standpoint, is there a chance that AEW can...
Haven't they already kind of beat him in the 18-49 demo?
I think they might have once, or they came close once. Yeah, maybe. I think it's come close. I think they've at least done it once. But
I think that they've got a shot if they keep on the course and they tighten up some of the Max Caster issues and things like, the Hardy,
yeah, there's definitely things that they need to work. Yeah.
If they could tighten it up and but they've got the momentum, they've got the buzz, and if you can grab a guy like CM Punk and you can grab a guy like Daniel Bryan, I think that does move the needle, because there's so much general interest in CM Punk, regardless of how I feel about him or not. I know that I'll watch him just paint, fences for hours on end and be okay with it. But I think if you can get that, you can keep that momentum going, and if Rampage starts to become is a success when it debuts next Friday, I think there's a shot that you could start to see, AEW get into that 1.5 million, which is crazy to me, because Raw has been doing that number more often than not, considering they are a 30-year flagship show.
Yep.
But they're just right now, Raw is, if you miss a week, you didn't miss much. You don't, it's wash, rinse, repeat. I think they need to do something different. I think they need to just shake things up. I think, I mean, I don't know how to save Monday Night Raw, because I'm not Vince McMahon, but I really think.
Well, one way to save Monday Night Raw: get Vince the fuck away from the creative control. Sorry.
And I mean, he needs to go away. And if you want to keep him as he owns the company, but at what point does the man say, "Look"?
When he's dead.
It's not right, and that's terrible. I will say this. I will play devil's advocate and say I absolutely am dreading the day Vince McMahon passes away, because there's going to be a legion of fans that are happy and rejoice it. But the man is a genius. The man did a lot, but he's lost touch. He's lost touch.
Look at Vince is not. The things you read, right? He doesn't seem like he's very loyal to his wrestlers. Most of them, Deonna versus Melina.
Let's go.
Oh my goodness.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
As our boss Spencer Love would say, I've got plenty of time for that.
Yeah, Spencer, if you're still going to be in there watching, I apologize. I am going to drop maybe 3 to 5 more F-bombs in the next.
We're going to need you to open up them. We might.
I apologize. I'm going to apologize early, but we already started talking about Vince, so we're just going to go into it.
Let's go.
My thing is, when it comes to Vince McMahon, right? Yeah, Cody, I fully agree. I think the whole main roster of Raw needs to do that, because besides Roman, there ain't shit happening. It's very, there's good things here or there, like good performers, good characters. I love Sami Zayn. I love Big E. The Roman storyline has been perfection, and Roman has been great throughout all of it. I cannot find, specifically, I can't find one redeemable thing on Monday Night Raw. There's not one redeemable. I do like Nikki Ash. I know the character's not for everybody, but I support her and I love her. So I'm in on that. I loved RK Bro, but Orton's been gone for a little while now, so that hasn't really. But I thought RK Bro was entertaining. Other than that, man, it's this, like you said, it's rinse and repeat. We're watching the same matches over and over and over again. Why did Keith Lee have to fight Karrion Kross again this week? Why?
And did he won?
And he won. They 50-50 the shit out of it. Of course they did.
So
of course they did.
So ECW
ECW. This is because I listened to Sean Ross Sapp earlier today, and he said that he thinks by the middle of next year, NXT is going to resemble more of WWE, ECW Rebirth, whatever that was, than it did NXT from 2015 to 2016. Brutal. I would agree with Dan. Ali and Mansoor is definitely something that I am enjoying. And I loved the match on Monday. I didn't like how they did the typical bullshit where Mustafa Ali's from Chicago, so he needs to lose and look like a clown in Chicago in front of his home audience. God forbid, they do that stuff. But
right,
that story I do like, and I did like the way that match ended with like Ali thinking to himself, like, "Damn it, I'm gonna push this guy out of the way and sacrifice myself and take this for him. Like, I cannot believe that I'm gonna do this, but I'm gonna do this." And so I did like that. So I would agree. I do think that is a redeeming. So I will take back what I said. I do like Ali and Mansoor.
No, there's some good stuff going on, but that's the thing. Look, if the best thing that you said about Monday Night Raw was Ali and Mansoor, that's a problem, right? If that's where you had to. And there's nothing wrong with Mansoor and Ali as performers. I think they're both, but they did Mansoor dirty. He had like 50 straight wins, and then he takes an L for no reason whatsoever. They don't make any hub about anybody. And then they just make really like Karrion Kross is your NXT champion, and he's 1-2 on Raw, and you've made a video package calling him the most dominant NXT champion they've ever seen.
Yep. And then you see him the next night on Tuesday.
Yeah. One day later. 24 hours
one day later after losing, to Keith Lee, which it shouldn't be a bad thing to lose to Keith Lee because Keith Lee is amazing. But the way that Keith Lee, he was gone forever. And I think this is a big problem too, Joe, is that the results of the matches have always been basically meaningless for a while now. You know what I mean? Besides championship matches, it doesn't matter. Because they're either 50-50 booking, or they have this stupid thing that they do where it's like, hey, instead of just building somebody up and having a team or a solo person win a bunch of matches in a row, we're just going to have them beat the champions once. And then they're the number one contenders. And then they're going to get the belt. It's like, no. You know why Becky Lynch got over? Because Becky Lynch was winning matches and having great matches over and over and over and over again on SmackDown for like a fucking year. That's why.
Becky Lynch.
And that's why she got over. And the crowd at that Money in the Bank, where she didn't win, that crowd was 100% behind her because they liked her, because she was presented in a way that we wanted her. Like, she was presented in a way that would make you get behind her.
Right.
And then they tried to turn her heel, and the crowd was like, no, we like her. We like her.
That, dude.
Yeah,
I was sitting there like, no, you can't do the You People promo because we love you.
Yes, we love you. Then we don't. This ain't us against what? What are you talking? We don't book the shows. We like you.
Oh, I got a little.
You get that thing out of here.
Well, let's go. Get out of here. Get out of here. Ah.
Good Lord.
You know what else isn't walking around here? Releasing creative minds.
No. Hold on. I'm not done with Vince.
Okay.
So, Vince, for all intents and purposes, and like you said, like, a lot of people that are diehard wrestling fans are like, Vince has to go. Vince has to go. And like, there are plenty of reasons that you can read and look up on the internet that will show you that Vince McMahon is not the greatest gentleman. He's not the greatest guy of all time.
Right.
However, we would not be talking to each other right now on this show if it wasn't for Vince McMahon. Right. So he always will have a special place for me because he's afforded me to be a wrestling fan for basically my whole life. And it's been a pretty sweet time being a wrestling fan for that long. Right. And now I get to chat with you every week, and I'm on other shows. I'm part of this. Like, I have so many friends now in wrestling that I wouldn't have if it wasn't for wrestling. And Vince is the reason for that. Right. So that's always going to matter. And he's always going to he is a genius. He's always going to be associated with professional wrestling long after he's gone. Like, he's the guy that made it what it was, right? Mm-hmm. What it is.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, he's 80 years old.
Right.
And it's clear that he has no fucking idea what he's doing anymore. And you have to, at some point, and I know he makes the final decision, so it is going to probably be when he unfortunately passes away. But at some point, you need to make a decision and go, hey, we're failing. Like this, yeah, we're bringing in all this money, cool, but nobody likes the shows. Nobody. And it's like, hell, you have, and I know we're going to talk about Ric Flair. Yeah, I know. I was fired up about this before we came on the air. So, but Ric Flair is a 70-year-old guy who's not a current wrestler. He's not a current wrestler. He's not even on the show. Like, he pops in from here and there, but he's just there, right? Yeah. And the rumor is that he asked for his release because of the bad booking on the show. So that means that Ric Flair, who's not even involved in Raw, he went to Vince and he was like, hey, man, you got to let me get out of here. And Vince was like, why? What's going on? And he goes, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. You have no idea what you're doing. And it's just like, it's bizarre. It's bizarre to me. And I usually don't get angry and I usually don't drop swears. I'm very professional.
This is love wrestling, JP.
It is love wrestling, and I love wrestling. This is why I'm so fired up about it, because I want to love the shows that I watch.
This might be the first time in Between Two Beards history that JPJ gets us kicked into Spencer's office, and not me.
That's it.
It's usually me.
That's it. That was the last F-bomb.
Are you sure?
But, yeah.
I don't think so. There's a lot more,
it's just like,
content to come.
It's just a bummer. Like I'm seeing like guys and girls that I like, that I'm a big fan of, just getting thrown aside when it's like, what? Yeah. You don't have 5 minutes for this person when I have to watch 8 recaps of what happened at the beginning of Raw throughout Raw?
Right. Or
like you need to show me the first segment 9 times. I was here. I was watching it. I know what the hell happened. You don't have to show me 9 times. I'm
one of your few viewers left.
Yeah. Like, I'm the only one here sitting through this 3-hour debacle every week. Like, get out of here. I want you to take those 8 minutes that you're just there and have a friggin' match with somebody that I would like to watch.
Yeah.
What the hell, bro?
Give Karrion Kross a proper entrance.
It was just like, what the hell is going on? I don't know. It's just bizarre. And Cody, you're probably right. When they just said booking, it probably was just Charlotte's booking. Maybe. I don't know why, he's a wrestling fan. I could see why he would care about the booking in general, but you're probably right. But at the same time, like, if it gets to the point where he's like, no, I need you to release me. Not like, hey, I'm going to have a conversation with you. Like, I don't like what's happening. He's like, no, I got to get out of here. Like, I don't want to be around this anymore. That's just, it's in like, something has to give. Somebody has to step in and say, hey, like, what are we doing here?
Hey, his office is located in the beautiful country of Canada. It oversees some beautiful mountains. There's a waterfall.
It's true.
You feel really warm and fuzzy when you walk. It's very inviting. But then, like, he's got a nice spread of artisanal waters.
Cucumber water.
Cucumber water, melon. He's got some mint if you want.
Yeah.
And then he's got very motivational posters on the walls. Yeah. Very comfy, ergonomic chairs. But then he does this. He'll go, hi, friends.
Yeah. How you doing, friends? Take a seat. And you're like, oh, boy. Over. But no. All right.
It's always, I'm not mad at you. I'm just very disappointed.
I'm just disappointed. Yeah. But
we digress.
Yeah. That was the end of my, it's so frustrating. And it's like, and we're going to get into it more because I know, not right away, but we're gonna talk about now. I wanted to transition to Adam Cole.
Is it time?
Not yet.
Oh,
not yet.
Do you got a picture?
That's gonna be after this.
Okay.
Because I think that one's gonna be, and I agree, Joe. It is super frustrating to be at least the main roster fan. It's becoming more and more frustrated being in NXT. Like, NXT is still a good show, but you can kind of feel the luster wearing off every week, kind of. You know what I mean? So, but I want to talk about Adam Cole.
Let's talk about it.
Oh my God. All right.
Let me just start with this.
Yeah.
Let you take a breath. I'll start this one out. You've got Adam Cole, who is the heart and soul of one of your television programs, and he is one of the top superstars in the world.
Yeah. I'm gonna answer this question though.
And and you forgot to check his contract status?
Oh my God, yeah.
How do you let a guy like Adam Cole's contract just run out and not think like, oh shit, we should probably sign that guy. He's really good.
Yeah, he's like very good. He's like one of the best guys we have in the whole
Don't
company.
all sports teams across the globe have just a person who strictly is contract, salary cap, figuring out numbers, knowing when deals are up, knowing when they could do this and that? And you're telling that says to me the WWE just does not have that person, because we saw it with Cole. Black's 90-day non-compete was only 30 days.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. It's just crazy. And I want to, Joe, can you put Dan's comment back up? Yeah. So he says, okay, while talking about Rick, a bunch of people I know have stated as a joke that this might cause Vince to have Roman drop the belt to Cena so he can be a 17-time champ. Thoughts? I don't think it'll be Roman that drops the. I think at some point Cena will get that, or he'll fight for it. You know, he's fighting for it now, but like I think Cena will get the 17. But no, nobody should beat Roman. Nobody should beat Roman.
Somebody's got to beat him at some point.
Yeah, I mean somebody.
I agree.
Not right now. Not right now.
He shouldn't do it yet. Right now, it should be a little ways down the road, and it could be Cena, but I don't know if it's Cena at SummerSlam.
No, I wouldn't think so.
What is my only issue? Even if they decide to do it, how do you write that? Because Cena's not available to do. I don't even think Cena's available to do the Rock run that the Rock did last time he won the belt.
Yeah.
Where he was able to. Cena's a busy dude. Cena's doing hefty commercials, movies.
Yeah.
I hit him up to be on this show, and he was like, "I'm sorry, I'm busy, man. I'm busy." And I said, "Okay, I get it."
But yes, but back to Adam Cole. So right now, I agree that I think Flair's record should be I think Charlotte's going to beat it with the women's titles, and I'm perfectly okay with that. It's
unless she goes to AEW,
to be with Andrade and potentially her dad now again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things where how do you, like you said, Adam Cole is like a staple, arguably the greatest NXT champion ever, Undisputed Era, probably the greatest NXT faction ever.
Oh yeah.
As of right now, we'll see how Hit Row does. But yeah, but like he's a staple. He's a staple of the company, and they went up he signed an extension through SummerSlam, but there were times where he was wrestling not on a contract. Yeah. They went up to him, they were like, yeah, so we goofed because we have no idea what we're doing as a company. And you're not on a contract, but we need you to stay at least through the takeover because we have plans for you on the takeover. And he, being a man of his word, was like, all right, cool. I'll sign an extension. I'll go through the takeover. But now everyone is speculating. Oh my God. So his girlfriend's the champion over there in AEW. His best friends in life are the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and Kevin Owens. Those are like his 4 closest friends.
And they're over there. Well, except for Kevin.
Besides Owens, but the other 3 of them, they half run the joint over there, you know? So, and I agree. I think he should stay in NXT. I think that's where he should stay. And I agree with Ed. I do. I think he's gonna stay. I do.
But what do you do with him? He's done everything.
That's true. Well, he hasn't really been like a super duper baby face. I think you can maybe do like I agree, but you could. That's the only thing he hasn't done, though.
True, but the idea. So basically, you keep Adam Cole in NXT for the rest of his life. He never has a WrestleMania main event moment. He's not going to get main rostered because clearly they don't know how to book Karrion Kross. They're not going to book Cole any better. And you just stay down in NXT that's doing 500,000 views a week. I mean, unless they haven't even paid him yet. They haven't even given him an extension yet.
No.
How do you not go, what do you need to stay, Adam? Because we know that you're a game changer.
Yeah. That's what it should be. Hey, what do you need? What do you need? We'll give it to you. Because you're a no doubt person, you know? I just don't understand. And reports came out today that Pete Dunne is on a similar, or after SummerSlam, he's running out too. So it's like, okay, well, To me, these two guys are guys that you have that conversation with. Pluggo, you go to them and you go, "Hey, what do you want?
What do you need?
What do you want? What do you need? We got you. Like, what do you want?" So when it comes to Adam Cole, I do think he stays in NXT. I do. Yeah. He seemed from everything you read or hear, he seems to be a really upstanding guy. He's well liked, well respected. He handles things the right way. He's not shady. But it's one of those things where I just can't even fathom how you let someone like that get to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but how cool would it be though? Because if his contract runs out, he doesn't have to wait 90 days.
That's true. He doesn't.
He just does Takeover on Sunday, and he's on AEW Dynamite on Wednesday.
I mean,
shit.
That'd be wild.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be wild.
Join
the elite.
I love to speculate. I love to do that. I always say I don't like to speculate, but I think I truly do. We're having a breakthrough revelation moment here on Between Two Beards. Pluggo likes to speculate as much as he goes, I don't like to talk about that stuff. I love it.
To Dan's comment here, where he says these two guys are the greatest example of Triple H guys, Dunn and Cole. If they leave, then we need to have serious combos about Hunter's power decreasing backstage. Yeah, I mean, I think the way that they book NXT people on the main roster should tell you everything you need to know about how Vince views Hunter's.
What do you,
that gives me a hint at least.
You are the well-fined, versed, established War Report weekly NXT. You are the man, you are the czar, if you will.
I don't know about that, but I appreciate it.
If they don't sign Adam Cole and he leaves NXT and then Pete Dunne follows suit, where do you think NXT is? In terms of are we talking sinking ship type stuff, or is it something that you think that they can figure out?
I mean, they've had the pedigree of figuring it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they've had all these separate runs. You had that first run with Rollins and Neville and Bo Dallas and early Sami Zayn, and then those guys moved up, and then it was Owens and Balor and Nakamura. So they've had these runs where they can do it, or they've at least shown that they can do it. But I mean, if you lose, man, I feel like Adam Cole is
Raw's now developmental for him.
I mean, in my opinion, Adam Cole.
Bobby Lashley, you are now a trainee.
Imagine. Adam Cole to me is the biggest star on NXT, and it's by far to me. And if you were to lose him, you just brought Joe back, so that's awesome. Hit Row is amazing. I really like Legado. There's a lot of things about NXT I like, right? And they're having the breakout tournament, which if you look at what the breakout tournament was a couple years ago, a lot of those guys are main acts now, you know? So you can always rebuild.
Yeah.
Cole was thought to
wrong. Being in WWE is a dream for a lot of people.
100%.
What we're seeing in this landscape of wrestling is all these other companies are willing to let you be more creatively, fulfilled and work other places. I guarantee you, if Adam Cole said, I want to work New Japan, AEW, I want to go to Impact or whatever, they would make that happen for him. You know what I mean?
Yep.
WWE saying you're in NXT, that's where you're going to stay. I have this really nagging suspicion that if Vince thought super highly of Adam Cole, he would have already been called up. Because he's already done so much.
I think Adam Cole in the main roster would be nothing but a disaster.
Right, and I agree. I don't think he fits the main roster vibe unless he gets to wrestle a guy like Daniel Bryan. And when he did that, it was awesome, but you can't do that, sustain just those type matches on the main roster for the next 10 years. So I feel like he would have already made that transition, and he hasn't yet. So what's left? If he's I look at guys like Johnny Gargano and Ciampa and Cole, and I like
there you go.
And
I can see right here Cody thinking the same thing.
Vince doesn't like smaller. Yeah, no, exactly. Johnny Gargano, for all that we love for Johnny Takeover, and he's 199 pounds. He's 6 foot, not even, right? Yeah. You put him up against Roman Reigns, that optically doesn't look great in Vince's mind. We all love him. We all know he's talented. so these guys don't want to go to the main roster and they're very adamant about it. So they're just going to stay in NXT. And what ultimately they're doing, in my opinion, is they're blocking other people from getting an opportunity, because it's developmental. I know they call it the third brand, but it's developmental. You're supposed to want to move up to that main roster and get that SummerSlam or WrestleMania moment. And what you're doing is you're keeping those 4, 5, 6 guys down there because they don't want to go.
Yep.
You're blocking the potential to get anybody else into that main, like the Austin Theories of the world and things like that, to get into the main event scene down there.
Yep.
In my opinion, I could be wrong.
And again, we don't know. Like right. Parrish said earlier in his comment, like one of those things is like maybe WWE. What he did say that in Ring of Honor, he said WWE's the goal. But I feel like WWE's the goal. And then for a lot of people, once they get to WWE, after a while, they're like, yeah, no, maybe this is not what I thought it was. Now, I'm not saying Adam Cole thinks that way. He's been treated very well in NXT. He was brought in as a big deal, and he's never not been a main event. Like he has been treated the right way.
Yeah,
right?
He didn't have to he
didn't have to work his way up the car. Like he was there. He was like, yo, this guy's a big deal. This guy's a big deal.
Kicked Drew McIntyre in the face and was off to the races. So I hope he stays. I like what he's doing in NXT, but if he goes, I can't say I blame him, because if they haven't, again, if you're telling me that I'm going to end it here with if you're telling me you have a main event player, face of your brand, whose contract is up and he literally can walk tomorrow if he wanted, and you don't say, what do you need?
Well, here's the thing though. The reports are that they've gone to him with multiple offers and he said no.
Oh, well, then maybe he's
so either bargaining for more or he's like, I'm out, bro.
DMD saying, look, come over here. Because do they need him? No. But would you, again, it's a guy you sign. You sign Adam Cole if he's available. You make that happen. Just say.
Yeah.
So I don't
WWE
guy. No, you sign him.
Yeah, I don't know anything more than anybody else who reads the reports, but the reports are what the reports by trusted people is that his contract is up. They've tried to re-sign him over the last couple of weeks multiple times, and he has not re-signed yet. That's all we know. And the fact that he has not re-signed yet means that maybe he's at least willing to listen to other people.
Yes, he should. That's good business.
That's a business. Yeah, you're a business guy. So,
Hall and Nash did that when they came to Vince and said, WCW is offering us, X, Y, and Z. Can you at least match it or come close? And Vince was like, no.
No, I can't. Yeah. So I think it's in his best interest. Like you got to bet on yourself a little bit there. And if you can, it doesn't hurt to at least have the talks with Ring of Honor or AEW is going to be the one that's probably going to give you the most comparable money to what WWE can give you. But like you can at least talk to these places and see what they're offering you. And then, like you said, you go back to Hunter because it's Hunter down there. I assume Vince has the sign off. But like you go to Hunter and you go, okay, AEW offered me this and this, So. And that's it. Yeah, I understand we don't know, Parrish, but we talk wrestling here. That's what we do. We speculate. That's what a show is called,
But no, we don't know. He could have signed, and maybe that's, they did that with CM Punk, and they did that really well. When he was out the door, nobody knew that he'd re-signed. He left with the title, so we all assumed that he'd re-signed, but there was no leak saying that he had. So who knows? Maybe they're angling for something there. We'll see. I'm excited to see how it plays out, however Adam Cole decides to do it. It boggles my mind that you didn't realize that one of your, key pieces was a free agent.
It's just one of these things for me where I'm like, okay, when that guy has a year left, you should already be talking to him about the next long-term contract that you like. What? Huh? Yeah. When it's a guy like that, right? Like, and we're going to get into it now because we're continuing, like the train of like potential guys leaving or going somewhere else. Well, this guy, I know Parrish, and I was, we love you over here. I know.
Yeah, you're always welcome here, Parrish.
Come on now.
We love to give you a hard time because we told you to stir up shit in the chat, and you definitely do that for us every week, and we appreciate it.
Yeah. So, my thing.
There's a lot of love in the chat. Hit L.
Yeah,
if you're
that's
still
what we are.
watching,
We love wrestling.
if you're
We love
still
each other.
watching and you're in the chat, hit L for love. Let's see them L's blood.
So my thing, I know, right? My thing is, I think it's time for because we're going to do the draft. I still haven't even told you what draft it is yet, so you're going to be on the fly.
Is it the "you gotta be joking me"
I think so.
moment of the week?
I think so because I don't think this is going to be a quick little like, oh, here's the joking moment of the week. Okay, on to the next thing. We're gonna talk about this.
So we're gonna talk about how Spencer can hire Warren Hayes to write for the site, but we put him on for 30 seconds and we're blowing the budget. Yes, Spencer, you gotta be joking me.
Can I tell you? I popped when I saw that. When that came out, I was like, oh yeah.
When Warren wrote, yeah. So. Yeah, that's my "you got to be joking me" moment of the week. We can talk about real wrestling, but Spencer, you can step into my office, buddy. No, but seriously, what do we got on the docket for the "you got to be joking me" moment of the week, baby?
So it's one of these things to me, and I don't know if you agree with me, but once it happened, I was like, this should be the "you got to be joking me" moment of the week for all time.
All time?
No, that's not true. Well, maybe.
Maybe.
If I ask you a question, Pluggo, just a random question.
Uh-oh.
How on earth do you ever release or let someone like Bray Wyatt go?
I guess you just do it like they did on this week.
Budget cuts.
No, budget cuts. Budget cuts is the only logical excuse. This, for me, is very complex. Like, I don't want to get into recklessly speculating why they released him or what was going on with him. My thing is he consistently has been one of the most creative minds. He's reinvented himself at every pass, and you let him walk. Maybe there was a mutual parting of the ways, but you still, it's again, you're just letting creative people with good ideas walk. I remember I went to a Raw down at like Fort Wayne, Indiana, near where I'm from. And if you go to a Monday Night Raw, they used to tape Superstars right before that, or Main Event right before that. So that's why the ticket says 7. And I saw the first iteration of like Bray Wyatt comes out in this dark match, and I was like, who's this guy? Like, I didn't even know who he was because at that time I really wasn't into things. And then to see where his career arc went, and to see that he took whatever that was, which looks really weird at a house show, to the Fiend, and he came up with this insane character. He snaps Finn Balor's neck on TV as his debut. He's got all these creative ideas, and you just said, all right, we have no room for you in our company. We can't even figure out how to use you. Yeah. Shaking my head on that one.
It's just like, man, like, and I think it was actually Joe who said it earlier. It's becoming harder and harder to be a WWE fan. You know what I mean? And I don't mean that as,
if you bought that $6,000 Fiend belt, you probably feel like a big asshole.
Come on. Like, this guy came up with character after character after character that everybody saw and was like, oh man, this is really good. This is different. This is really different. This is really good. And every time they ruined him. They absolutely ruined him. And it was just like, okay, well, you know, and we can talk about the Ronda Rousey comment too, because that goes along with this.
They ruined him for normal. Like, they ruined Firefly Funhouse Bray for Randy Orton, who's cookie cutter, typical wrestler looking person. They ruined the Wyatt family to Cena for Cena, right?
Cena could have lost that match at WrestleMania, and Cena's stock wouldn't have dropped at all. John Cena. The hell does he need to be winning that match? Same thing when he beat Rusev too. Those are 2 matches he did not have to win. He did not have to win. You make 2 stars by beating John Cena at WrestleMania.
Yeah, and you remember when EC3 got released, and he went on a podcast and he basically said that he was gonna pitch the character he's doing, the Free the Narrative thing, but he saw how they handled Bray Wyatt and said, why would I ever give them that?
Yeah.
Let them ruin what I envision my character to be. It just ties back into the company wants just they want to push content. They don't want to push creative content. They just want to make money and let people walk out the door that have fresh, different, unique ideas. Whether you like The Fiend or not, you stopped and went, what is that?
Yeah.
Like, my kids would be like, who's that guy? And who's that? Like,
Yep.
and then, you know, my 6-year-old that ran in last night on the War Report knows 2 wrestlers, right? He knows John Cena, and I don't know why he knows John Cena, but whatever. I digress. And The Fiend. Yeah. When I ask him, who are your favorite wrestlers? He'll say The Fiend, because he remembers that guy, the mask, the character, it draws people in, and you're just like, sorry, we can't figure out what to do with you.
Like The Fiend debuted. I mean, he obviously had the vignettes and stuff with the Firefly Funhouse and but he debuted at SummerSlam of whatever year that was, 2019. 2019. Yeah. And he was over. Like, when I say over, I mean, originally he was over, like, with the crowd, but I mean, like, the character was dead in the water in October of that same year with Hell in a Cell with Rollins.
Yeah.
That, like, a character of that magnitude, when he debuted, everyone was like, oh man, this is crazy. This is great. Like, nothing we've ever seen before. He's like an evil, like, you know, like, he was a psychological evil thing. And then all of a sudden, literally like 3 months later, he was in the title picture, which he did not need to be in. No. He should have just been taking care of people who have done him wrong or that he owed or things like that. And they had that ridiculous Hell in a Cell. And then they built him back up a little bit, but he never really got to where he was. And then in February of the next year, he lost to friggin' Goldberg. And once he lost to Goldberg, that character was dead. Yeah. Over. See you later.
But even then, he was dead with the Goldberg loss. They lost some of the luster, but I thought that he figured out a way to recover a
little bit. Because he's creative and he can.
He's creative. He gets Alexa Bliss involved. That was kind of cool at first. I didn't think the Swamp Yard match was that bad. I thought that
it wasn't. It got shit on way too much.
It was well done.
But people hated it way more. Yeah. Like, it was like, all right. Like,
yes,
it wasn't that
of course.
Bad,
you murdered Braun Strowman and he showed up the next night. Yeah, okay, we'll shit on that part. But he figured out ways to add layers to the character even after they constantly chipped away at the luster and the allure of his character.
Yep.
And I don't know what happened backstage, but he takes that quick L at Mania, insanely quick L.
Crowds booing
to Randy Orton. The box-like structure. That's all brutal, I remember from that match. That's how bad it was.
And like Joe says here, like, that would have been an option. I mean, when we're talking about Taker specifically, what should have happened was it should have either been Bray or the Brock match should have never happened, and Roman should have been the one. Like, when Roman actually beat The Undertaker, that should have been the first loss. And then Roman, this is my yard now. And
they didn't need to put Bray and Taker together at that point yet either.
I agree. If
Taker's going to wrestle for another 6 more of these main events WrestleManias that he did after that one, they should have continued down the path and built it into it wasn't even really that big of a deal. That should have been maybe not the main event of WrestleMania, but one of the marquee, like, oh my gosh, we're about to have this crazy, the next Taker taking on Taker, and build it into something big. And it was kind of like, meh. I think it even happened, if I'm not mistaken, during the day.
Yeah.
Was that one of the Manias? I think it was maybe not. I could be wrong, but I just remember for some reason feeling like that wasn't a big deal and it was kind of a throwaway.
Are we talking Bray and Taker?
Yeah.
No, that was during the daylight. Yeah,
that was at
was that WrestleMania 31? Well, when Rollins cashed in, maybe.
Yeah, it's San Francisco, right?
Yeah.
Like Taker's entrance in the daytime.
Yeah, just daytime, and even Wyatt's entrance to they had the Fireflies back then. It was like, why the hell is he coming out in the day? Why is this second?
Yeah,
these guys need nighttime or lights off for their entrances. Why is this happening while it's light out?
That's why we're sitting here and we're not booking the show.
Damn right. You're damn right. All right. I mean,
fired up, JPJ. I love it.
I'm sorry.
No, hey, that's awesome. That's what we're here for.
You know, I try my best. I try my best to be as positive as I can, but I feel like, you know, but we were positive the first 15 minutes of the show when we were talking about AEW. And then we started talking about main roster WWE. And guess what? We're negative because the shit sucks. It's not good.
We're talking about how budgets get open for other people, but not Between Two Beards. I'm not going to let that go. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
It was an awesome article. If you get an opportunity to read it, yes. Our boy,
two-time guest, our only two-time guest,
Warren Hayes, wrote an article for us at Love Wrestling. You should definitely check it out. It's fantastic. It is about Kenny Omega and Adam Hangman Page, and it's well done.
It is.
I'm not going to give anything.
I mean, most stuff that Warren does is pretty well done. All right, if you are in the chat and you think I did see Cody mention earlier about the former Aiden English Drama King Matt. I did not hear those comments or read them, so I do not know what comments you are referencing. But if you know them, share them in the chat, and I'll give you we can give you like our spur of the moment opinions on them.
Yes, Mr. J, the Word Slam
J
budget.
Rex there, yeah. The Word Slam does. I have heard that the budget has been stretched for that sequel, so we'll see. We'll see.
Maybe we'll have to do a Bray Wyatt promo for the old Word Slam.
Yeah, maybe.
But Between Two Beards collaboration.
Oh, would we want to do like a combined promo, like a promo that had two people cutting promos, like a tag team promo, or maybe we do a promo like a head-to-head promo where we're just going at each other?
Can I just come on and say I got kids?
Yeah, and can I say I don't give a shit about your kids?
Yeah, can we do that?
I say that?
Mr. J, if you're still
that's good enough for me.
Does that work for you?
If J Rex will allow that, I will do that. I will do the Heath Slater Brock Lesnar. As long as I get to play Lesnar, I'm good.
Done.
I'm good.
Done for sure.
Parrish, soon enough, you're going to be a one-time guest because you haven't popped on here yet.
Yeah.
So soon enough, we're going to get you on here, and then we can work on.
If he pops on, then pops off, then pops back on, does that count, or does it got to be two separate?
It's got to be two separate times.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough.
But anyway, we got like 20 minutes left. You don't even know what I'm choosing for a draft.
No, we talk about this beforehand. I've
been down and out.
Each of us had a few
hurt tonight. I've been down and out all week.
Few things going on the home front for both of us. So he literally said, I'm just going to spring it on you for the last part of the show. But while we talk about our draft, if you got any question, comments, anything, drop it in the chat. This is your show just as much as our show. Shout out to our sponsors, RK Athletics, for all awesome. They do for us. Give them a follow, give them a like, help increase their budget, by showing them some love. So what's this draft going to be, JPJ? The people want to know. I am dying to figure it out, and I'm going to draft blind.
Managers.
Oh, okay.
Managers. I was thinking, I was like, you know what? We did a wrestling one last week, but I feel like we've done more non-wrestling drafts than we've done wrestling drafts so far in our shows. So I was like, you know what? We'll do back to, which I love. I love doing I'll do anything.
Well, I'm glad you won. I was going to pick potato chips.
Get that off the screen. God, don't give me any hints. That should be. I agree with you, but that
you won the poll on the @B2.
I did. I crushed you 70 to 30%. Crushed you.
Because I forgot to vote.
Wow. Well, my one vote.
I forgot to hit up my
that I beat you by. So.
My burner account. I forgot to do. But no, if you follow us on Twitter @B2Beards, we have our own page now, our own Twitter. Spencer was nice enough to allow us the budget to run our own Twitter page, as well as our normal Twitters that are personals. But he won. He gets to go first. We're drafting.
Well, I don't think so, because I thought you won the previous one and you let me go first. But either way.
Well, it's because I'm a nice person.
All right. Do I get to go first though?
Well, if you want.
I mean, I'll give it to you. I'm good.
I'll take it. I got it. I'm ready to go.
I mean, I would hope the number one choice should be the number one choice.
Slam dunk. Well, you know how I operate. Sometimes I go. Am I going first?
Yeah.
Paul Heyman.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, he's number 2 for me. Number 2 for me.
He is, my opinion, is the GOAT of managers. Or advocates or whatever.
I'm going to take the real GOAT, and that's Bobby the Brain Heenan. Come on now. That was a layup. Why would you give me that at 2, bro? I was expecting Heyman. I was like, oh, I'll take Heyman. I'll be all right. And I'll build from there.
Again, that's fine.
Bobby the Brain, bro.
Well, at 2, I'm taking, and I don't know if this counts as a manager or not, but I'm going to roll with it based on how the storyline played out.
Oh, are you going more? Are you doing recent again, like recency?
No, I'm going little old school here.
Okay.
Eric Bischoff, Silver Fox.
NWO.
Like he's like he kind of became the mouthpiece, because he was the boss.
I'll accept it. I don't think it's bad.
That's why I said it's a weird vibe, because he was more the owner of the company that kind of just got into the fold, but then he kind of took over a lot of the talking and being the mouthpiece type deal.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go there. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm doing this blind. I didn't do research.
I literally made up my mind right as I said it. So I had a couple floating through. I had like tag teams. I was thinking tag teams, managers. All right, Bobby the Brain Heenan. That's pretty good to start, bro. All right. I'm going to take, one could argue, one of the first, well, at the time she was presented as one of the most beautiful valets managers. And I'm going to go with Miss Elizabeth.
Nice. That was on my radar. That's a good one. Yeah, she was like one of the first. Like she was very unique in the sense that we didn't see that a lot out of the women's side of things. So that's a good vibe. I'm taking with number 3. I got some options here. I don't know how you're gonna play it, so I'm just gonna play it safe. Jimmy Hart, Mouth of the South. Yeah. And the reason I'm taking Jimmy Hart is because I vividly remember it was a throwaway match in WCW. It was like for a roll of quarters or something in a sock, and it was on a pole. And I just remember Jimmy Hart scurrying up to now he's a fantastic talker and everybody knows that, but he's scurrying up this like 40-foot pole with no, if he slips, he's dead.
Yep.
And that's the type of manager you need, right? A manager that'll do anything for you. And that was Jimmy Hart.
100%.
Absolutely. So I think I got this in the bag. Jimmy Hart, the cool runnings of managers of draft picks. We can't go one show without mentioning cool runnings.
No, that's just a thing.
I mean, I'm okay with it. We need listen. If we can get these numbers up, I think Spencer will let us have a cool runnings watch along.
Well, it's maybe
movie night with Between Two Beards one night.
That'd be fun. I think people would be about that.
We do that on and off or something.
With my third pick, I'm going to take Paul Bearer.
Ooh,
that's who I'm taking. Obviously, he's most associated with the Undertaker, but he managed Kane, Vader, Mankind. Like he had a little, yeah. I'm taking Paul Bearer. Very good.
Very well done. And I'm going to take a controversial pick at 4. This is my 4th pick. He's said some really dumb shit recently, but I don't think you can talk about Hall of Fame managers without taking Jim Cornette off the board.
It's fair.
Like I said, I'm strictly making this pick based on his managerial exposés in wrestling, not the dumb takes he says now to get views. But I think you couldn't Midnight Express or Rock and Roll Express. You couldn't picture them without him. The tennis racket is iconic. He's another one of those managers that do anything for his squad that he was managing. So I'm going to roll with that.
All right. I am going to take my second female.
Oh,
I have 2 females on this list. I am taking Sensational Sherry.
Nice.
That's who I'm taking.
That's a good one. She did Harlem Heat, right? Like, I'm not super familiar with.
She did a bunch of stuff. So she was with Macho Man when he was the Macho King for a little bit. He was with.
Okay, yeah.
She was with Shawn Michaels when he just broke up with Marty Jannetty, and he was like the first version of like the Heartbreak Kid when she would hold the mirror for him while he would like do his stuff. And then when she went to WCW, it was Harlem Heat, and then she was with other people in WCW, but I wasn't I watched both, but I was more of a WWE guy. But her the thing I remember most is at WrestleMania 7 when she was with the then heel Macho King, and he had a match with the Warrior. And it was a career match, and he lost, and then she kind of beat up Macho Man after, like, how the hell could you lose this? And Miss Elizabeth came out of the stands and kind of like fought her off, and that was the big reuniting of Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth. And the best part of that whole thing is Bobby Heenan, my first pick, gonna win me the draft. I could have just forfeited the other 4, and I think I still would have won the draft.
I feel like the youth would be, Paul Heyman is more recognizable. I think
that's fair. That's fair.
Maybe. But you're not wrong. Bobby Heenan's fantastic.
The best part of that whole thing was Heenan on the mic. He's the commentator. He's just like, this is disgust. Like, he just can't take. They're hugging and kissing, literally showing people in the audience legitimately crying, and Heenan's like, this is disgusting. Like, he's so against it. Oh, it's tremendous. It's tremendous. But anyway, I digress. Number 5 pick.
Again, I'm picking
last pick.
I'm picking this blind, and I'm trying to like come up with some ideas. There's some really good ideas, and I know Paul Ellering has been mentioned, but I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna get so much flack for this. Vicky Guerrero.
Wow.
Number 5.
Wow.
Excuse me. I love Vicky Guerrero. I think she did awesome stuff with Edge. She did awesome stuff with Dolph Ziggler. I can do without some of the stuff she's doing right now with Andrade, but we're talking her overall.
Well, they booted her. They gave him Chavo now.
Right. They
were like, you're
still around. She's not officially booted yet.
It's okay.
She's still got Nyla Rose. She's still backstage.
We're gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right. Oh boy. All right. Well,
so I'm taking Vicky off the board. Let me get some Vicky Guerrero.
I feel like I have such a cushion here.
Yeah.
That
you rig the vote this time around.
What do you mean I've rigged the vote? Bro, you're lucky. You're lucky you're in Indiana. You're lucky.
Hey, I'll drive out to Massachusetts, dude.
Anytime, brother. Anytime. I got room.
All right. Sweet.
All right. I'm going Mr. Fuji.
All right.
Mr. Fuji to round out my list. I almost took Slick, though. Underrated Slick. What a manager.
You know who I almost took? I almost took Lana when she was with Rusev.
Yeah. She was good.
She was fantastic.
She was very good.
I went with Vicky. I won this thing. Hands down.
We're going to see. We're going to see. That's pretty good though. That's a pretty good list. You just had Vicky was your only female.
Yeah.
Was your only female.
I think she's the go to female managers.
Vicky.
Yeah. I love Vicky Guerrero.
Wait, is that real? Is that real?
That's a take. I like what I like. I'm not gonna.
It's all subjective to me. I'm just gonna look at you like.
Look, you have to understand. So I always tell people, and I am very honest about it. 70s, 80s, early 90s. Wasn't me. I wasn't watching religiously like I do now. When I got into things was, Attitude Era, Monday Night Wars, really started to get into stuff. So a lot of that stuff I've watched, back now, and I can appreciate what they do now. But a lot of my picks are like, what did I like in the moment? What was I all about? And yeah, there's some picks that I'll make that are like, yeah, I watched it back and I think that person is phenomenal. But like I said, with the Cool Runnings pick, I got to watch this stuff. It's what I'm watching.
It's true.
It's my list. If I came on this show every week, it was just like, yep, same Mount Rushmore as every other person that had the Mount Rushmore talk. You'd be like, I'll just go watch them.
It's true. It's true.
Vicky's the GOAT, baby. Let's go.
Wow. I was just gonna mention him, Ed. I was just gonna say Bill Alfonso.
Bill Alfonso is
Bill Alfonso was one of them for sure. I was also a big fan of Sign Guy Dudley. No, I'm just kidding. I was, but no, I wouldn't have picked him. But no, Bill Alfonso stuck out to me. I was trying to think of other managers that we didn't mention. Harvey Whippleman, that's a good one. A good one. Yeah, but I think we did pretty good there.
AJ Lee was a manager.
AJ Lee, I think you could have counted her.
She managed Daniel Bryan, or
she was an active performer still, but she definitely was his valet
manager.
Valet.
Stephanie McMahon. I mean, you could.
You could.
There's so many different ways that you could. splice up the manager valet mouthpiece thing. I think there's a lot of ways that you can go, but I think we have some solid lists, and I'm going to create some burner
the people in the chat are just trashing you, bro. They're just trashing you.
Sonny,
another good one by Ed.
Yeah.
Sonny was.
They trash me every week.
That's not true. What?
But in the drafts, they always side with JPJ.
I mean, it's just because I'm superior in every way possible. But
I
it's
won.
fine.
But I won last week. I should have.
I won 2 weeks ago.
I should have won. I don't know how you. I had a stacked lineup.
I mean, bro, I had Roman and Britt Baker. That's it. That's all you need.
Oh,
that's all you need.
But I had everybody else.
Okay. Anyway. But all right, people in the chat, we got about another 5 minutes or so to kind of chat some wrestling. So if you want to bring up any other topics that we haven't hit yet today, or that you want us to talk about, send it in the chat. We'll talk about it.
While they do that, football's back tonight.
Football is back
Hall of Fame game, Steelers Cowboys.
Two of my least favorite teams
of all the time. So everybody joining us, thank you. I know there's I mean, everybody gets uber excited for the preseason football. I don't. I just don't get into it.
I don't.
It's not players that are going to be there next week.
Yeah.
But former wrestlers that. Former football players, Bill Goldberg is Roman Reigns.
Oh, what about this one?
He
says, who do you think brings Dan Lambert back to AEW? Ed thinks Alex Kane, maybe.
Which we talked about last night with Ed when he was on the War Report with Alex Kane. He's a former guest. He's a former winner of our draft because we were too afraid to lose to him.
Yep.
I'm all for Alex Kane being on my TV screen whenever they can, and I think that would be an interesting move to bring him in. I don't know, and as much as I love Alex, I don't know if that's going to draw the needle in terms of I think a lot more people be like, who's that? So I think Dan will err toward maybe he'll bring a few people, and if you can do that, get your top team, get the Tom Lawler, get Alex Kane. Get them all on screen. I think that would be a really cool vibe. But just to bring Alex Kane and not really have any kind of explanation to who that is, because he's on the come up right now. He's definitely on some radars, and I think he's going to do some big things. But he's just starting to really rise.
Yep.
So
I agree.
We'll see, Ed. I'm rooting for him. You know me. I'm Alex Kane all day. Suplex assassin.
Yeah, definitely. But I do agree with you. I'm starting to see more and more of him on my Twitter timeline by people. And they're like, oh, I want to know, they're doing I like that. I want to know more I want to see more of this guy. I want to know more about this guy. I like him. So
I'm glad we got him on the show before.
We got him early. So hopefully he'll be a friend of ours when he blows up and he's on our, main basic cable wrestling shows, and I'm just like, oh, hey, remember when we talked about Cinnamon Toast Crunch? Can you come back on our show? That is true. We didn't specify wrestling managers, so why didn't? Well, first of all, Cito Gaston was. I mean, you can try to give him credit for managing the Blue Jays in the early '90s, but with that roster, I could have done it, and I was 7.
Was he a baseball man?
Cito Gaston was the longtime Toronto Blue. I'm a nerd. I know everything about sports.
If we're talking baseball managers, then it's Lou Piniella.
What? What Lou Piniella win as a manager? Jack shit.
That's what he won.
Jack shit.
My heart.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm from New England, so if you don't win, sorry. So that's oh God. The Pluggo. Are you gone? Did we lose Pluggo? All right. Well, that's how the show ends. At least he's smiling. Look at that. What an adorable smile.
Can you hear me? Oh,
I can hear you, but I can't see you. You just, there you are. You're alive.
What
I was putting you over, bro. I was putting you over, bro. All right. Here.
I heard everything.
Let's talk about Cody's comment because he said the Drama King Matt's comments. Tito Francona, legend. Anyway,
Terry Francona, legend.
Steinbrenner, he's dead, so I'm gonna respect the man. But the Seinfeld virgin, Larry David, Steinbrenner, amazing. Cody, Drama King Matt's comments were about doing new things after leaving WWE instead of revisiting his WWE acts in other companies. Agree or disagree?
I
think he can do both. I would understand why he doesn't want to do that, because I think, he wants to make a name for himself and like show that he's, he wants to show his value, right? And he's like, all right, I don't want to fight other WWE guys. I want to fight all these guys from other companies or from the indies that I haven't fought yet. But at the same time, I would black the F out if CM Punk and Daniel Bryan fought in AEW.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know. It can go either way. It can go either way. I respect his opinion by saying, hey, I'm looking to fight other guys. I don't want to fight guys that I fought before in WWE. 100% understand that. Yeah, fight new guys, get new experiences, build your brand, 100%. But at the same time, if he ended up on a show, if he ended up on a Dynamite, right, and he fought Miro, that would be badass.
Yeah.
That would be badass. And I'd be like, oh, and everyone there, AEW fans are, smart fans. No, everyone there would know, obviously, and they'd be everyone would be going nuts. You know what I mean? So
I think in a lot of ways, the rematch thing we get excited about because there's so much that the WWE could have done with, say, a Rusev and an Aiden English story that they just kind of chose not to do. Yeah. And, it's just one of those things that if you can tell the story, and like Malachi Black's doing it right now by keeping the eye injury, and he's not telling his new fan base, like, this never happened, please ignore everything I've ever done. He's calling to it and using it and part of the story. And CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, I don't care who you are. That's a money match that you make in any promotion that you can, whether they have history or not. But I will say in other guys' cases, like Christian Cage, the Matt Hardy stuff isn't hitting for me because we have seen it so much. Mm-hmm. But when I see Christian Cage with like the Jungle Boys and the, other guys, I'm like, all right, yep, I want to see that.
100%.
So it's hit or miss. It's subjective, but I think there probably is a good story for Christian Cage and Matt Hardy to tell. I just don't think that they're telling it with this. It's because I just don't like the Hardy Family Office thing. I just don't.
I'm not feeling.
I love all the components of it. I love Private Party, one of my favorite tag teams. Butcher and the Blade, another great tag. I just don't think it works.
Yep, I would agree 100%.
Punk versus Daniel Bryan at the Garden.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, it as much as like the majority of the first half of this show was us complaining about wrestling. It is super fun to be a wrestling fan, right? There's just so much.
Fucking love
cover
it.
Earmuffs.
Swear jar.
Yeah, sorry about that.
To the Madison Square Garden point. Could you imagine that two B players that the WWE perceived were B players for so long were the headliners and sold out Madison Square Garden for another promotion?
It would happen. It would happen. 100%.
Wild.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, like there's so much, rumors, speculation. Sorry, Parrish, but there's so much rumors and speculation out there of who's going where, when they're showing up, who's going to fight who. It is exciting. Like it's been exciting the last month and a half, and I think hopefully as like there were some. I don't want to touch it because I know it's the end of the show, but there were some slight rumors you read this week about how like AEW and WWE are doing like contingency plans to maybe go back to like no crowds if things get worse. Like I don't want to. Yeah. If things that would suck. I don't. Hopefully it doesn't get there, but if we continue going with full crowds and things like that, like it's super exciting to, at least if you're if you're not focusing on the main roster of WWE right now, everything else is still so exciting with like, ooh, Punk and Bryan. And now, is Bray Wyatt going to go somewhere? New Japan, I think he would be unreal in New Japan. That was a rumor as well that WWE had concerns that SummerSlam would be moved or.
And for your sake, I hope they don't.
Me and Spencer, man.
Yeah.
Me and Spencer are supposed to be going in a few weeks. That's the first time we're like going to physically meet.
Is that why you haven't been at these office visits that I've been at? Because
he likes me, bro. He asked me. He asked me. I'm the belle of the ball, baby. I'm the belle of the ball. But anyway,
I see
I'm
what's
just kidding.
going on here. I
Yeah.
see what's going on here.
But anyway, we've been doing this for an hour and a half. It's 10 o'clock. That's our time.
Yes,
I want to thank you. I needed this week.
absolutely.
I had a rough week, so I need it tonight.
Spencer Pierce blood. Amen.
You know, he does. So
that's right.
It was good to be back on here after missing the last couple nights, but it was good to be back on here doing it with you.
It's good to have you back, buddy. I missed you, man. Like I said, I love doing the War Report with you. And last night, just as much as we had a great time,
you guys did great. And Ed and Astrid did great on Tuesday. Like you guys all killed it, and you stepped up for me when I kind of needed you. And I wanted to show you guys that I had faith in you, that I knew you guys would kill it, and you did. Cody, thank you. Yes, I am excited to work with you next week on the War Report on Wednesday too, my friend. I was very that was one of the things I was upset about because I was like, oh, we got Cody, one of the new guys on there, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling great. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Pluggo, who's just like kids are running in. I'm going. Exactly. I'm like, I don't know what my notes say.
Yeah, but it's all good.
I forgot to talk about the PBR commercial.
Oh, amazing.
Okay.
But that's going to be it for us. Another great episode. Pluggo, always a pleasure doing these on Thursdays.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, man. What about the actual plugs? Do you have anything else? Are you hopping on any streams or anything in the future? Or are you just kind of rolling? Whatever happens?
Kind of rolling with the punches right now. Whatever happens. Got some things in the works. Maybe some new things will be popping up here sooner than later. But right now, hey, between two beers every Thursday, you catch me here. And then, if you need the War Report, I do the War Report
for at least the time being on Wednesdays until the franchise comes on back.
Until he gets back from his assignment, and we'll just see what happens. But right now, you catch me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at Pluggo _ on Twitter. Between Two Beards, check out our Facebook page, our Twitter at B2 Beards, and show us some love there. Vote for me on this poll because I feel like I'm not jobbed. Other than that, just rolling with the punches. Got not a lot going on this week.
Yeah, man. You can follow me here at the Joseph _ Poulin Jr. I think the actual name is JPJ Loves Wrestling on there now.
Not after tonight.
Didn't see him, but I do. I really do. Yeah. Thank you, Astrid. Thank you.
But
yeah, thanks for joining in. Thanks. Very active chat this evening. I loved it. Thanks for everybody for commenting and being in there. Stay tuned to Love Wrestling. We will have the recap show on Saturday with Parrish, Ed, and I believe Astrid as well. We'll have that on Saturday. We will have the Sunday brunch on Sunday, the flagship show of Love Wrestling. You can catch me back here next Tuesday on the War Report for NXT with Ed and Astrid, and War Report on Wednesday with Pluggo and Cody. And then we'll be back here next week for episode number 14 of Between Two Beards.
Maybe.
Again,
we got to get past clearance.
Yeah, I know. I dropped too many F-bombs. I'm going to be gone.
You're in office this week, bro.
Yeah, it's going to be my week now. Joe, thank you as always for producing Behind the Glass. This show wouldn't be the same without you, my friend. Thank you again to everybody in the chat for the comments. This was cathartic for me this evening. I needed it after a rough week, so I appreciate all you guys. And for Pluggo, for Joe, and myself, thanks for hopping in on Between Two Beards. We'll see you next week. Peace out.